Leighton's speed and dominance is not in question this season, but we arrive with him second in the points solely down to lack of attendance. Last week's double points have put Johnson in a strong position to steal the crown in an unexpected upset. Let's see who comes away with it as we get ready to watch round 12 of the Porsche Owners Club Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director, Zach Johnson, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. A lesser used track on iRacing, Motegi might prove unfamiliar to some of our drivers. In case you haven't heard of it before, though, let's head to our track guide. Welcome to Twin Ring Motegi. This well-known Japanese racing facility located roughly 2 hours north of Tokyo gets its name from the fact that it has both an oval and a road course that can be run. But a unique feature of this track is that instead of having a roval layout, the road course is entirely separate from the oval circuit. On top of that, drivers have 3 different road courses to choose from in the form of the Grand Prix, East, and West circuits. While not totally devoid of elevation change, the track is relatively flat. What distinguishes the place the most is the combination of plenty of long straights heading into heavy braking zones. With it being built in 1996, it has most of the qualities you'd expect from a modern road course, including flat curbs, a fair amount of runoff, and multiple pit complexes. Oddly, because of the oval, the track includes night lighting for a portion of the road circuit. Though there isn't much notable about most of the turns, one of the more distinctive corners is the final chicane on the Grand Prix course. Leading out of a tunnel that returns you to the oval infield, it's kinked on entry and it tightens greatly at the second apex. This makes pushing the limits of this corner extremely tough, and it often catches drivers out. Though international series such as IndyCar and MotoGP have held rounds at the track, today it is mainly used for local open wheel and GT series. Still, the one-of-a-kind experience offered to drivers and fans at this circuit is sure to keep people coming back for years to come. Well, this is going to be a tricky place to round things out with our triple header here in Japan, DJ, but I think it should put on a good show.
It should put on a good show here, Joe, but drivers are going to have to be a little bit careful. As you said, a very tricky circuit around here and very, very few opportunities to overtake, despite the length of some of these straightaways. Now, you can occasionally see a little bit of a fight back going into that turn 1-2 complex and then coming down into 3 and 4, but really and truly, your best area to get a moveset is going to be going down into turn 11, that run off of the long back straightaway there. But watch out off of that, the 12-13 complex, incredibly tight, incredibly tricky, and very low speed as compared to the rest of the track. The other real danger area to watch out for, the 7 and 8 complex that constitutes up at the top of that map you're looking at right now. Very, very tricky medium speed corners. There's a lot of lateral load going through the cars, and we may see a driver or two just stepping over the line.
That is for sure, but championship finale going to be taking part in a moment. Before that, we want to mention that this broadcast is brought to you by Porsche. There is no substitute. Find out more at Porsche.com. And Game Changer Wealth, helping you become a game changer with wealth. Contact them today at GameChangerBR.com or on the phone at 225-664-2565. Now, the championship situation is simple. Essentially, Tom Leighton needs a win and nothing else to be able to take the crown. If he does not win, he is not the champion. But even if he does, Michael Johnson only needs to be 8th or better to clinch. That's not a high bar, to be honest. Michael should be able to do it, but it's not also a foregone conclusion. He needs to stay out of trouble. Other than that, Bolton could actually overtake Tom Leighton for second as well, but Andrew Chinichi not likely to be able to overtake Michael Bolton for the third position, simply because Bolton has shown up today, and all he needs is 1 point to put himself out of range. So that's going to be pretty much done and dusted here as long as Bolton starts this race. From there on down, watch out for Rondo, Shulam, and Dewan. Very tight together in the battle for 6, and this is it for them. Last chance to try and decide those positions. So give a watch to that, because that should be fun to see this all play out. Now, as for the race details, let's go back to DJ.
All right, well, we are back here in the final round in our traditional sprint format, a 30-minute race preceded by a 30-minute qualifying session. About 25 minutes are down in that right here. We are running the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars, the 992s, with a fixed setup. So all of these drivers going to be on equal parity here. It is just a matter of who is able to extract the most out of the car.
Exactly. And, well, they're trying to extract the most out of it right now, because they're in the midst of qualifying, and they've got about 5 minutes left to go. Leighton doesn't look like the fastest, interestingly. He's still sitting third. Shinichi and Dewan are faster than him, not by a whole lot, but it is tight up between P1 and P2, less than a tenth of a second separating them. Johnson, as is typical, is somewhere around sixth, as he's not known for being a great qualifier, but again, he only needs eighth or better, and since he races better than he qualifies, that six isn't too worrisome right now.
No, it's certainly not. Leighton, by the way, just crossed over the start-finish line right now. He's not going to be able to get a good hot lap in here, not going to be able to improve on that latest one, but here is Johnson on your screen right now, coming down as, well, our colleague Soup would like to call these portions of the track, Joe, the shopping aisles here, as he comes up and down here on this kind of parallel run down through the first couple of corners.
Exactly. And this is the last of them that you have to deal with down into turn 11, I believe it is, down here. One of the few elevation changes, difficult braking zone, easy to see cars go off there. And then definitely the trickiest part here, DJ, into the chicane.
Yeah, very, very difficult there. Just kind of a flick to the side there of turn 12, and then the back and forth, very, very quick go into 13. And you've really got to maximize speed coming out of the corner to get as much as you can down this front straightaway to try to set up a potential pass here. As, we see a driver off in front of him. That's going to be AJ Roper having a little bit of problems going down into one.
Interesting note, Shinichi went quicker last time, but still didn't take the pole. It is now down to 0.07 of a second between P1 and P2. It gets ever closer. Leighton not looking like he's on a flyer right now, but he's got enough time to probably put in about 2 more laps, I think. But just barely. It's going to be close on if he's got 1 or 2 left here. Let's see when he crosses the line. It might actually be 1, now that I'm seeing these seconds get down closer to the minute 1:54 that he needs for a lap.
Yeah, as you said there, 1:54, about what he's running here. He's going to come across the line right now. I think he's just barely going to have enough to get into if he keeps things together. Not an improvement there. It looks like he was pretty quick through Sector 1 on that last time of asking, though, able to set a personal best there, but not able to improve there anywhere else.
I'm looking through to see if anybody's on a good lap. Another new name, though, that we haven't seen yet this season is Gabe Zamora. So he's coming in for the final round for his first time this entire season. He sits in 5th place right now. So clearly relatively fast. He's only about 0.6 off the pole right now, and it looks like he might be able to improve here. He's on a quick one.
Yeah, he's going to be getting a good time here. Gabe sat in 5th place, as you said, able to set a personal best through Sector 1. He's going to try to see if he can carry some good speed here. These are the chicanes that we were talking about, turn 13, that leads back onto the start-finish straightaway here. Let's see what Gabe has.
Timing line is very late here on the start-finish straightaway, but he does not improve. He's about 0.2 off, unfortunately, but Michael Johnson does. 54.1 jumps him up to 4th. That is a massive chunk that he's taken out of his time.
Yeah, that's a big, big chunk there, and again, that is going to be more and more help here for Michael. He needs to just try to put in as many of those good laps as possible, try to get his way up in the standings if he can, to just make things a little bit easier for him come race time.
Leighton coming around once again to try and set a better lap, but he's still showing hovering around his best. So it could improve, but he needs, let's see, it looks like just shy of 0.2 to catch Andrew Chinichi, let alone Cigar Dewan in front of him as well. And I'm not sure that this is going to be enough unless he has a really amazing final chicane through here. Watching his time as he launches out, and that was pretty decent. It is going to gain him a fair bit, but I don't think it's still going to be enough. He crosses with a 54.057. It puts him closer, but still not up to second.
No, not quite up there yet, and the checkered flag is in the air, so Leighton will be able to finish this last run here as he goes, but he is going to have to put it all on the line if he wants a good time.
Larry Haas is going to be the next one to cross the start-finish line, but he's looking like he's very slow. And someone giving up there down on the track, down braking into turn 11 once again. Johnson's going to give it one last attempt. Haas did not improve as he crossed the line that time. Johnson looks like he's pushing all the way to the finish, but I don't see him improving on this lap based on where he sits right now. 3/10 down on his best.
Yeah, I'm not seeing an improvement here as well, but he's going to try to put it all to the line here. And again, this is just going to be a little bit good practice for him, probably. Make sure he's got a good rhythm set up in the car. He's going to come out of that final chicane, bring it across the line. Yeah, he knows he's not going faster there. He's backing off down the front straight away.
So that does it for that one. Next car across is going to be Gabe Zamora. Doesn't go any quicker, unfortunately, so that's it for him in qualifying. Jeff Shulam will be our next one in the 371. Does look like he's going quite quick here. Let's see what he can do if he can crack the top 10, because right now he's in 11th, and I'm showing him 3/10 up potentially. He crosses the line. It is a 55.1, but he stays in 11th. It's not enough.
And not going to be able to get that one done here at this point. And I think that's going to conclude here our qualifying action. It's time to go racing from the Twin Ring Motegi.
The last race of the season, first season of 2023 here. And then they're going to do another 12 races for the second half of the year. Cigar Dewan is going to be starting on the pole. He's looked very fast lately and has definitely picked up the pace, because Andrew Chinichi is going to try and challenge him again, but can he is the question. Tom Layton also needs to challenge both of them. He needs the win to take the championship, and he'll start from third, but he'll have his rival right next to him. Michael Johnson starts from P4. AJ Roper will begin from fifth, as Gabe Zamora is in sixth position on his introduction to this series. BJ Fulton will start in seventh, and Mark Rondeau will be P8. Then it is Michael Bolton with a surprisingly low qualifying for him down in ninth, and Jad Duncan will round out your top 10.
Coming home, or starting off rather, in 11th, it'll be Jeff Shulam, followed by Matt Hollander, then Jacob Abrams and John Momeyer. Larry Haas will be 15th, and it looks like Mike Parsons not able to set a time.
So 16 cars going to be taking part in this one as we wait for the clock to hit 0, and then the cars will start gridding up. Good news is it's pretty nice conditions at only 80 Fahrenheit on the track itself, so not very hot, but also not too cold. It is a little bit late in the day at past 5 p.m. virtual standard time, hence why you're seeing a nice, beautiful sunset starting to form here. But temperature, resetting there down to 79 degrees as it tries to readjust itself now that we've switched sessions, and car is going to be gridding up on the run down to 11.
Yep, here they go. It will be a flying start here down the straightaway. The pace car will pull off and give the control of this field over to Cigar Dewan. Going to have to see how they handle it, and I'm going to be very much keeping an eye out on that black number 1 machine to see just how aggressive we see Layton here, being from the beginning, knowing that he has got to absolutely send it and absolutely go for it if he wants this championship.
And I have to imagine the drivers in this club probably extremely happy. Just today, iRacing announced the new Porsche GT3 R992 is coming to the sim. Going to replace the old one that ran the GT3 spec class here. So the new car that's racing in the real world is going to be stepping in. Now, I believe they already have plans for next season, and I understood it to be the RSR that they were planning to race, but I wonder if they're going to change that now that the new Porsche and a new toy is coming in.
Yeah, I mean, if I were these drivers, I certainly would want to get into the new machinery as quickly as possible and have a good time with it, but we will have to see what they decide to do with it here as the pace car starts to pull away and we get going down into turn 11 on that back straightaway, and we get ready to go racing.
Cigar Dewan is going to try his best to see if he can get another one. But right now, Andrew Chinichi is the one with the win last time out, and he wants to try and beat him yet again. Dewan last one 2 races ago, back in round 10. So what can he do here today as they come out of the final corner, waiting for the green flag? They have to get the signal from Barney before they can go. Cigar is waiting patiently here. And there it is. Green flag is out, and he gets a very good start over Andrew Chinichi. No response. Tom Layton's going to try and take advantage of it. Michael Johnson's down there almost 3 wide for a brief moment. He has to preserve the car as nearly banging doors. Chinichi and AJ Roper come together briefly.
Yeah, they were banging doors. They were a little bit, but good jump for Tom Layton. He moves himself up into P2, going to set his eyes up the road on the 501 on Cigar Dewan to see if they're able to do. There you see Michael Johnson holding station there. Almost a little bit of contact behind him there between Gabe Zamora and AJ Roper, who's fallen down through the order, but it looks like they're going to keep things neat and tidy here coming out of turn 4.
Johnson settles into 4th. That is a championship winning position. 8th or better will do it for him. Layton, though, doing what he needs to do at this point. He's up to 2nd. Needs one more spot to try and get himself into a championship winning position. Look at this. 3 wide, though, between Jacob Abrams, Shulam, and Hollander.
Yeah, they are absolutely going at it here, coming down into the corner, that tricky section that we talked about of 7 and 8. They've got to sort themselves out here. You don't want to be going too wide through that part of the track.
Yeah, and they go back to single file, like you said, knowing what's at stake there through that portion. Heading into 9, pretty sharp hairpin here, but critical exit. Shulam going to try and set up Abrams, but Jacob gets a good exit himself. Just behind, that's Matt Hollander returning, who's been running a partial season here and is not quite close enough down into 10.
And not able to get it to go, but let's see what he can do here on the setup down this long straightaway into turn 11. The draft going to be coming into play here for these drivers as we've got a car off. That's the number 8 of Larry Haas.
Oof, into the wall of the support pits, unfortunately. Not sure how hard of a hit that was. They do have a spare car if they need it, but he's at least able to get it going. Look at this, though. Chinichi, who for a time looked like he was going to be the one to challenge Tom Layton for the championship, is making life a bit of a headache, and he's going to look to the inside into turn 1.
Here he goes. Layton's going to try to hold that outside line, pinching him down on the apex. Maybe a little bit of door banging there as they come out of the corner through 2 now. And it looks like Chinichi's got the line.
With Bolton having taken the start, right now Chinichi is locked into that 3rd place in the points. 4th place in the points, and Tom Layton goes around. Tom Layton loses it and is falling down the order. His championship hopes absolutely dissipating.
Oh my goodness, and Joe, I'm not sure if there was contact there with Chinichi or not coming down into the corner, but one way or the other, absolute heartbreak there for him. He is going to find himself coming out here all the way back down in 14th and a decent ways off the rest of this field.
Yeah, it was hard to tell. I don't think they made contact, but they were very close together. And Layton knew it was all or nothing for him, and unfortunately, it wound up being nothing today because it's only 30 minutes. It's going to be very difficult for him to make up this lost time, having slipped down to 14th out of 15 cars. It didn't look like contact from that view.
No, it certainly didn't. And is that him off a... No, excuse me, that's Gabe Zamora. That's another black car there. I got very concerned for Tom Layton for a moment. But Zamora having a little bit of an off there. It looks like going down into turn 9 at the moment.
Crabbing badly. Yeah, he's absolutely going to need his spare car. In fact, he's got a black and orange flag. He will be forced to come in and take repairs. So let's see what put him here. Well, that'll do it. Just losing the rear end coming off of the S's. Oh, and that was the final blow.
Yeah, that was a very, very hard lick there, and I believe that was Michael Bolton that made contact with him there. And indeed, as Bolton's actually going to come down into pit lane here at this point with some pretty hefty damage on that number 127.
And again, Bolton basically has no lower than 3rd in the points. I was saying Chinichi was locked into 4th before the drama happened out here on that last lap. So Chinichi's only concern is just trying to take the win. But Bolton, could maybe overtake Tom Layton. It's unfortunate, though, that this might make it not possible for him, considering he also now will need a lot of cars to run into trouble to get back into this one. Meanwhile, Michael Johnson sits on the podium, but more importantly, is still above 8th.
Yeah, he's above 8th, and for Johnson, this is going to change his calculus a little bit. He's now going to be thinking about, as he closes up to the back of Andrew Shinichi, not necessarily needing to throw everything away here. He knows that Layton's back down in the order. He knows this championship is within touching distance, and he just needs to hold station here. If he's able to pass Shinichi, great. If not, he'll be perfectly content to stay in 3rd.
You know, the funny thing was, I talked to him last week. He actually didn't know about the point situation back at Suzuka and didn't know he could have wrapped it up that night. It was only after the fact, when he watched the broadcast, that he was made aware of that point situation. So a little bit of frustration on that one. Probably, like you said, will change his approach on this now, knowing the clear picture.
Yeah, it certainly will, and he'll be thinking about that. That will be playing into his calculus. But then again, I do have to say that Michael Johnson is an absolute tried and true racer here, and so he's not going to want to give up the fight necessarily. He loves this, the side-by-side action. Hopefully going to be able to get a good fight here with Shinichi. He'll love to be able to do that.
Just notice he has the blue flag on his hood, so I'm not sure if that's a joke on his part to try and give that to cars ahead, but I don't think that was on there before, as he comes down into turn 1 once again, and Shinichi has put himself out of reach. Still a lot of racing left to go, and the gap is not super large, but it is looking pretty comfortable at this stage for our leader Dewan and for Shinichi.
Well, Sugar just keeps continuing to put down near fastest laps of the race. We do have a little bit of action a little bit farther back here at this point. That's the number 69 machine of Matt Hollander and Jacob Abrams going side by side down into 2.
Popular spot to try and make an overtake. Abrams going to wind up ahead of Hollander, who just doesn't quite get the exit here, coming out of 4, I should say. And looking into 5, they're going to go back to single file. Really good example of what we were talking about, why it's so tough to try and make the pass here. Getting those runs off of these corners just doesn't seem to be as easy as you would expect.
No, it certainly doesn't, and it's deceptive, Joe. This Motegi circuit, you look at it from above and you think, oh, this should be overtaking opportunities aplenty, but it is just very difficult to get a good run and to get that power down. But we're starting to see here a little bit of a train starting to form right now behind Jacob Abrams as Hollander, Schulam, and Duncan all closing in behind.
Hollander is one of our hard chargers. He's up 4, but Jacob Abrams in front of him has 6 gains since the start of this race. Schulam looking a little bit under threat here as Chad Duncan gets ever closer behind him in that bright yellow and black machine. Let's see if he tries anything into turn 11, the downhill braking zone, another spot where we're often going to get some pass attempts, but no, he doesn't even show his nose.
No, it doesn't even look at it there at this point, as now Duncan tries to close in behind Schulam a little bit, coming down through 12 and 13, not really having an area to overtake here. This is all about setting up for the run, going down the front straightaway, and it doesn't quite look like that anybody's going to get that to play, and I think they're going to stay in line here coming down into 1.
Yeah, he gets himself a little bit more clear of Jad, at least for the time being. So down through 1 and 2, interesting, slightly different lines between them, although Schulam was a little off that second apex. Duncan going to try and capitalize on it. But let's see, down into turn 3, he's going to show himself this time, but he knows it's not really on.
Yeah, just trying to scare him off the line there I think a little bit. And that's often something we see from these drivers. Just a little bit of a move this way or that way to see if they can get the driver to maybe bite a little bit, try to make a little bit of a mistake, see what they're able to do. But right now, Schulam putting up a very, very stout defense. It doesn't look like he is necessarily giving an inch. Right
now, Duncan probably more concerned with trying to get by Schulam because of the fact that he's trying to stay ahead of Rondeau in the points, who's up in 6. He's way up the road. So he's going to have to start clawing him back in if he wants to try and do anything with this one. 20 minutes left on the clock, so we're now a third of the way through.
Yeah, third of the way through here at this point as time continues to tick away here, and we continue to just watch this battle absolutely percolating a little bit. There you saw Duncan moving a little bit of this way, moving a little bit of that way, trying to see if he can force him off the line. As now those couplets starting to break out, we could see a little bit of a battle starting to develop here at this point.
Absolutely. But does he want to take it is the question, and it doesn't seem like he's really all that interested in trying to do anything crazy at this stage. Maybe he's biding his time as they're side by side in front of him. Hollander with another attempt on Jacob Abrams, but it doesn't well, maybe it will work. That's a much better exit there for the 69.
Yeah, much better exit. Here he comes. He's going to have that overlap a little bit coming down the main straightaway here, diving down into one. He's going to have to be later on the binders to try to put up that defense against Jacob Abrams. Abrams tries to look for the later apex through two, and it's not going to play.
So still stuck there. Track position seems to be king today here at Motegi. You get that spot, you don't have to play too hard a defense, just run your line and leave it up to those behind to actually try and get it done.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the way that you need to think about it here for these drivers. It's just about being able to run your own line more than anything. Let's see if Duncan's maybe going to take a little bit of leaf out of that book to try to get by Shulam.
So right now what I'm showing, Duncan should still be ahead of Rondeau if they finish in these positions. But I'm trying to do a little bit of math here with our spreadsheet. If Rondeau manages to finish in third or better, he will jump him if Duncan doesn't go any higher than he is now. That said, Rondeau looks like he's a little ways back from Michael Johnson, but certainly not impossible that he could get up there to that third position.
Yeah, he's going to have to certainly push here at this point, and maybe now that he's clear a little bit more, he may just be able to try to do that. But there is the number 11 machine of Mark Rondeau. He's going to have to try to move his way up to BJ Fulton here. That's going to be the first one to be able to do. But as I look at those times, BJ looks like he's putting down some pretty good laps here, and looks like he's about 1/10 of a second faster than Mark on the last time of asking.
As they come back under the crossover into the infield. One of the unique features of this track that it's got a road course and an oval, but they are not interconnected in any form or fashion, even though they interlock as they come down the front stretch. That's a look to the inside. Shulam doesn't defend and doesn't need to as he puts it on the apex, and Duncan can't make the pass yet.
Yeah, Duncan just looked like he was a little more tentative on the brakes there. Didn't want to fully commit to sending that car down into the inside. Probably worried about a little bit of contact there between the two cars. So that is why he decided to back off a little bit. It's going to leave Jeffrey Shulam the place for the moment. But Jeff's going to have to hold on to that position as Jad has certainly shown his nose here more than once and is definitely wanting to try to gain onto that 9th place position if he can.
The other driver that I haven't really considered in this is Cigar Dewan. If he takes this win, that will actually, I think, leap him up to 5th position actually here, it looks like. Considering he's 9th right now, that is a massive jump late in the season. Those 2 wins would really have rejuvenated his charge.
Yeah, it certainly would, and I want to give some credit here to Cigar. He's really come alive in the second half of this season in particular. That 501 machine was a bit of a mid-pack driver in the early stages of the season. I'm not sure exactly if he's gotten some personal coaching here or maybe just a little bit more time dedicated to training on the sim, but that 501 looks very, very quick, and I certainly think for next season, that's going to be a car to watch out for.
Absolutely. Missed a few races, so that also kind of hurt his points tally. But once he came back, he, like you said, looked incredibly fast. Just couldn't really seem to bring it home in the good positions, but has since really kind of wrapped that one up and put himself in a much better spot as he's going to fly down towards turn 3 now. And that battle between Shulam and Duncan just won't go away. Every time I look over there, look at that. A single car length between them, and Duncan's going to once again try to scare him off the racing line, but just doesn't seem to work.
Nope, doesn't quite seem to work here at this point. He's just I've got to give credit here to that 371 of Jeff Schulam. Absolutely stellar defense here from him. He is not buckling at all under this very, very constant pressure from Jad Duncan.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, there's only a 1-point difference between these two. Ninth place is going to get 3, and Duncan will get 2. Everybody from 10th on down actually will score 2 points unless they don't finish enough laps, in which case they will be scored as a DNF, and that's a single point just for showing up. So everybody who has arrived here at the track will get a point no matter what. But it's now a question of how many you can get before this is over as they weave through the S's, and that almost became contact between Schulam and Duncan through there, but I didn't see them actually touch.
No, I didn't see him touch either, Joe, but they're going to have something else to take into consideration here, because as we look at the back of that shot, look who's joined onto the back of this party, the number 1 of Tom Layton. Now, as we've said, Tom really kind of out of contention here for the championship and certainly for the win at this point, but he's going to make this battle a little bit more spicy, I have a feeling.
Yeah, and well, as we got a car off, that's AJ Roper. So BJ Fulton gets promoted, and Mark Rondeau does as well. Mark up to 5th now. Roper is able to return to the track in P6. Looks like he didn't hit anything, at least, and he's able to keep it running. But I was going to say, if I know Tom Layton, he's going to fight tooth and nail for every single position, even if the championship is over.
Yeah, without question. That is just the kind of style of the driver here that Tom Layton is. He is a true racer's racer and wants to be able to gain for any position. He's going to take a look here to the outside of Jad Duncan as Duncan takes a little bit of a half-hearted look down to the inside there of Jeff Schulam. That's not going to open up the door for Layton, but he's certainly knocking on it here at this point.
Great exit. He's going to be able to get side by side, but he's on the wrong side of the apex here, coming down into turn 3, much deeper down into the binders, and it's not quite going to work out yet. He's going to try and hang tough around the outside of 4, but he's off into the dirt, and that certainly won't make it happen.
No, that's not going to make it happen, but I've got to give credit there to Layton. That car twitched pretty violently on the exit of 4 as he came over the dirt, and the fact that he was able to hold on to it is a credit there to his driving ability.
Absolutely, and these guys know he is much faster, but I mean, what do you have to lose at this stage, especially if you're Jad Duncan, 1 more position down, and all it does is just put you farther away from gaining some more points. So he's going to fight him just as hard as Tom is.
Yeah, he's certainly going to try to put up a little bit of a battle here. Joe, the other thing I'm keeping an eye on out of the corner of my eye, and credit here to our director, Zach Johnson, for bringing my attention to it, we may have a little bit of battle starting to percolate up for the lead of the race as the gap is down to 0.7 of a second between Dewan and Shinichi.
Indeed. So Shinichi looking pretty quick lately. Is the car coming alive late in the race here? They are on a fixed setup, but you can preserve those tires a little bit. Dewan this time with a 54.6, Shinichi with a 54.5, another 10th cut down.
And those are by no means a slow time there for Cigar Dewan. He's running with about a half a second of his fastest lap time of a 154.23 overall. I think that this is just a matter of Shinichi putting on the afterburners here as we check back in on that battle. Farther back down in the field for P9, Layton making a move on Jad Duncan.
This time he's got the inside. He's going to try and keep it nice and tidy and not run out to the side of that yellow and black car. Indeed, he gets it done by the exit of the corner. Move Tom Layton back into the top 10.
All right, so Tom making a very, very stellar drive back up through the field here. Really, really incredible stuff for him. Remember, he was something double-digit seconds behind these drivers, and the fact that he's been able to catch back up here is a really, really impressive feat.
Absolutely. Also, AJ Roper was able to pass Mark Rondeau. That was a straight-up move down into turn 3 there, and got that one done to give himself 5th place. So great speed here by Roper to try and recover on his end. So what can Schulam do on Tom Layton? I'm actually impressed with Jad Duncan that he held Tom back as long as he did.
Yeah, I am as well, and I think that's a credit there to Jad, just knowing the places to throw a little bit of defense around this Motegi circuit, just able to keep him at bay and keep everything from necessarily firing off as they run. The question's going to be is how long is Shulam going to be able to hold on to this as well? Let's see what he's able to do, as it certainly looks like here was right on the hood of Tom Layton. He is very, very threatening here at this point.
Absolutely. And coming down to the braking of turn 11. Doesn't look like it's enough that he could try and make a move here. And yeah, he knows it. He's not going to try and challenge it at this stage. Good news is they haven't really lost too much to Jacob Abrams up in front, so he could be close to 8th place even here if he can make this a nice swift move and not dilly-dally too long trying to mess around side-by-side racing. He knows a good exit out of the chicane did him good last time. He tries it again. He's got the toe. Little bit of a defense from Shulam, but not enough of one as he's able to get down to the inside, leans on him a little bit to try to pinch him down, and that's not going to scare him off. Tom Layton now gets 9th.
Yeah, that's a good move there from Tom, just recognizing the area to make that attack, and this is what I wondered was going to happen. Now here comes Jad Duncan trying to make a similar move on Shulam behind.
It's on the outside into 3, though, and it seems like it's a little too tough to try and hang on out there. Although, whoa, great exit. He's got no place to take it, though, and he has to back off as Shulam parks it on the apex.
Yeah, good defense there from him. One of the reasons you're really able to defend so well around these curves around Motegi is because they are those double apex hairpins as they go, and it's very, very easy to sort of back up the car a little bit at the middle of the corner and prevent any of those sort of over-unders like we like to see. Duncan thinking about a little bit of a different line there coming down into turn 7, but that's going to do him no good.
Still hanging on, though. He could definitely take advantage as we get some side-by-side racing between Fulton and Roper once again. And, I say once again, I think it was many laps ago that Roper initially had made the pass on him because he made his mistake down here into 11 and handed it over not long ago. But as he attacks, he decides it's not close enough and he backs out.
Yeah, he's going to back out of it here at this point, and it looks like there the BJ is going to start to scamper up the road a little bit. But, Joe, we've got a full-on battle here for the lead of this race.
Shinichi's cut it down once again. He's been a little back and forth, though. He was slower last time out, but this time definitely much faster by 0.8 of a second. So he made that up very quickly. But as we've seen here at Motegi, it's one thing to catch, it's another to pass.
It is indeed, and how well is Shinichi going to be able to do it here at this point? How aggressive is he going to be coming down into these moments? What does he want to do with this? How much is he going to put on the line?
Coming down under the oval and into the outfield section of the track, he gets himself a little bit more clear from Shinichi and keeps him at arm's length. Needs him to be far enough behind at the hairpins that he can't really try and send one up the inside and surprise him as they come down through turn 9. This is where we get some of those hairpins, first left and then back right into 10. You can see Shinichi's just trying to remind him, I'm still here, I'm in the mirrors.
Yeah, he's just trying to see if he can make him maybe make a little bit of a mistake here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Shinichi sort of hold out for the first couple of laps here as they run around, not wanting to be too aggressive on him. And then once we get down into maybe the final lap of the run, that's where it's going to be all systems go. Mistake there for Shulam, and that's going to maybe allow Duncan on by.
Not quite. Looks like this actually was a wreck between the pair of them. Wonder if Duncan maybe tapped him from behind and just was letting him keep the position. Well, let's see if we get a contact between Shinichi and Dewan. He is right up on top of him. Cigar going to try and defend. Andrew looks to the inside, chucks the car into the first apex. You tend to try and double apex this one as well. And he's got the inside of the second one, and he's got it done. Shinichi's your new leader.
Great move there from Shinichi, but it looks like here we're going to see a secondary attack from Dewan coming down into turn 3. He's going to be later on the binders in that 501 machine, planted on the apex, and try to force the 6 out a little bit wide.
for both these drivers. There's really not much in it except for the win here. It's the last race of the season. Not really positions for them to fight for, except maybe Dewan if he wants to jump up a few. And as they come down into turn 5, Shinichi takes it right back. Is he fast enough to run away from Cigar? That's the question.
Yeah, that's going to be the real question here at this point, and I think he just might be as they go. He's got about 0.2 of a second on the best lap here for Shinichi. Let's see if he can stretch his legs now that he's into that clean air.
Okay, this is sort of settled down. Big slide there from Shinichi out of the S's. Let's take a quick look and see what happened in that battle between Duncan and Shulam. Duncan is ahead of him now, so he must have since overtaken him. Yeah, he got into the back of him. He knew it. He does the gentlemanly thing, and he waits for him to return to the track.
Yeah, just waits for him to get back around there, and that's just a simple matter of Jad misjudging the braking zone a little bit, coming down into 7, maybe being a little bit too over-eager going down into there, but credit where credit is due. He gave that position back. As you said, Joe, that's a gentlemanly thing to do, and we love to see that here in the POC.
In the meantime, Shinichi is still ahead of Dewan, but he hasn't run away super quickly, so this is staying pretty paired up here as they come onto the main straight, and that's going to be, I think, 3 laps to go at the line here.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot of time left. Only about 5 minutes left on the clock. I think that calculation is about right. So let's see what they are able to do here as they push their way along. Shinichi holding on to about a 4.5 of a second advantage now as they fly down through turn 1.
He's going to have to get much closer than this if he wants to take this position back. These two starting to become very good rivals as they raced against each other pretty much, I believe, the last 2 races before this one as well. But Shinichi just returned last time, so excuse me, he was not at the race at Fuji. So they fly under the oval and into turn 6 here. Very swift right-hander. Going to bring it back to the right-hand side to break for the S's now. Cigar keeping him honest, staying with him.
Staying with them here, but he has lost about 0.2 of a second as they run. And so that's going to be a little bit of a bad luck there for him as he's going to try to keep up a little bit more of the pace here if he can to try to see what he is able to get to go. Not seeing a whole lot of good running here, though, as that gap is staying at about 0.6 of a second.
The frustrating thing for Shinichi is, if my calculations are right, he'll be 1 point short of Bolton in that 3rd position in the championship, even if he gets this win. So just not looking like that's going to work out. But look at this. Pass attempt, I think, by A.J. Roper on Fulton once again, going the long way around of turn 10. Unfortunately for him, next one is also another right-hander into 11 here. It's going to be tough doing it the outside, but look at him, much better on the brakes. Nicely done by Roper.
Nicely done indeed. That was a beautiful move going down into turn 11. One of those primary overtaking opportunities that I talked about at the top of the broadcast, really taking full advantage of it there.
Can confirm, 2 to go. Leaders cross the line, but now Dewan is struggling. It's up to 0.9 of a second. He's losing a little ground on Shinichi, but we've seen Andrew try and come back from that far back before to make this pass, so I don't think this is necessarily over even at this stage as the sun continues to set, giving us these beautiful golden hues here in the land of the setting sun today.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous stuff here as the racing action has proved just about as beautiful as the on-track views, and you've got to love to be able to see that all the way around. Shinichi continues to try to stretch that advantage a little bit more, but it's going to be stubbornly holding at about 6, let's call it about 0.7 of a second here as he has been able to gain a few, now gains another 10th there going through the S's.
Back down into turn 9 once again, as he keeps him just far enough away. That's all he needs to do. We've seen how tough it is to pass here. It's going to take not only Dewan catching up to him, but having something to fight with and an opportunity to try and attack.
Yeah, he's got to really try to hope for a mistake here. I think that is going to be the biggest thing that Cigar needs to have happen. Otherwise, he is not going to be able to get a whole lot else to play here. Shinichi has got this in the bag. He just needs to hold on to it.
What an excellent race it's been from that number 6 car. Didn't get the pole, but it's not about who starts the race where, it's where you finish. And right now he's setting himself up well. In the meantime, Tom Layton and Matt Hollander going to squabble over 7th position. What a disappointing final race here for Tom Layton. After the early part of the season just looked like it was his to lose. Unfortunately, that's actually what happened, and hasn't won a race since round 9.
No, he has not here at this point. Just a bad run for Tom, unfortunately, but he'll be back certainly in next season. He is going to be one to watch out for. As here we watch that battle, though, between himself and Hollander at the moment.
White flag is out. Last lap for everybody out there. And defending to the inside, Hollander doesn't want to give it up. Another one where he's got nothing but pride on the line here. Is going to try and finish as high as he can, since the points are a bit moot at this moment. Is around the outside. Layton going to try and outbrake him. Does so quite well. Can he make the corner? He looks like he might, but they're still wheel to wheel.
They're still wheel to wheel. Hollander going to be able to hold on to that defense. Good heads up there. Good play from him, but Layton's certainly not done. He's still looking at it.
Breaking down into turn 5. He's so close yet so far away. Almost makes a little bit of contact with him. Has to get out of the throttle.
Yeah, has to back out of it there. He's going to pull back a little bit, probably try to cut his losses, see if he can get a run going down into turn 11. That's going to be his best opportunity.
Oh, and maybe not. Maybe he thinks the S's is a place to go. A little bit of contact. That sends him off the course. He backs off to let him try and gather control of the car. But this man is looking for win number 3 on the season. I hope to see him back next season as well, because certainly he's proven when he is around, he is very fast, and he's going to be a threat for wins, just like he's going to do in the season finale here today at Motegi.
Absolutely fantastic stuff for Andrew Chinichi. Crosses over the line. Victory number 3 on the season, and a well-fought one at that.
Behind him, Michael Johnson with a 3rd place finish is going to celebrate a championship as he is going to lock it up here. And impressive stuff from him. 2 wins on the season and many, many podiums that he has racked up over the course of it. Tom Layton will lose out here in the last 2 rounds, slipping out of the lead, as he will, ironically, finish in 8th.
Yeah, tough run there for Tom. Unfortunately, as we said, not his best showing here, but as we said earlier, he will be back. But it is not the day to talk about some of the losers. It is a day to talk about the winners, and your big winner, Michael Johnson. A massive, massive congratulations there to the driver of the number 9.
Interesting stat as well. All 15 cars are going to finish every single lap of this race. So great job from everyone to keep the pace up. And Michael Johnson kept the pace up over the course of the season. We're going to take a break, though. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Twin Ring Motegi. That man right there, we believe, has locked up the championship. But he didn't win today. That was Andrew Chinichi, who went from 2nd to 1st, and Dewan the opposite, wound up being passed late in the race, just couldn't hold back Andrew. Meanwhile, Michael Johnson, who we just saw in the purple machine, finished third and locked up the points as AJ Roper had to recover from a little bit of a hiccup there and was able to get back into P4. BJ Fulton was fifth and Mark Rondo sixth. Matt Hollander managed to seventh today, holding off Tom Layton in the end, who unfortunately in his attempts to try and get up to the lead found this race fell apart. Jacob Abrams was ninth and Jad Duncan wound up 10th.
In 11th place, it was Michael Bolton, followed by Jeff Shulam. Bolton finally able to get that run there on him, but then we find Larry Haas in 13th, Gabe Zamora 14th, and John Momeyer in 15th. Mike Parsons, a DNS on the day.
So, looks like we've got Michael ready to talk to us here, getting ready to celebrate a podium as well as a championship. And Michael, unofficially, I believe you are the champion. How does it feel?
I don't know yet. It hasn't quite sunk in. It's pretty darn cool, I gotta say. It was a lot of work, a lot of fun. And I got to give a shout out to a couple of other competitors, though. There's Tom, of course, who's just the class of the field. When he shows up, he wins, basically. And even when we had some tight battles, holy cow. I mean, just so much fun to run side by side with. Same with Andrew Chinichi. Both just incredible drivers. And unfortunately, they were not able to make as many races. I owe my championship to their bosses who made them go do other things instead of race.
Yeah, well, I mean, still, you performed with some incredible speed, you have to say, because I believe, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 podiums out of 12 races is still an incredible showing. And as you proved today, you've got the speed, but how nervous were you knowing that there was the possibility if something went wrong, you could see it slip through your fingers?
Lap one, turn one, I don't remember who it was, but somebody came flying up underneath and I think went side by side with Andrew for a bit. I was kind of jockeying for position to see who I'd go behind or around, depending on what happened. I just wanted to stay out of trouble. I knew I needed to finish ninth or better if Tom won. But Cigar, holy cow, dude put on a show and just was rocketing away. And then Andrew eventually caught him. And there was that little tussle that Tom had with Andrew. So I was like, I just got to stay out of trouble. And if you notice, I kept it like 3 seconds in front, 3 seconds behind. Then they got 4 seconds out, so I pulled a second out. And I just kept holding that gap. So I sat exactly in the middle and didn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, we were kind of noticing that you weren't too concerned about keeping up with them there. Well, I mean, work or not, the championship is yours, and that's what the stats are going to say in the series. Who do you have to thank for winding up on the top step when all is said and done?
Well, besides who I've already mentioned, big shout out to Michael Bolton, who has been doing a fantastic job all season. We've been working together a lot. But he just got married this past weekend, so he has an excuse for not doing as well in this race as he has been, but still brilliant driving all through the season. I've really enjoyed working with him and looking forward to working with him some more through the next several seasons. Of course, T-Mobile for Business, Fix Vodka, Sugar Studios LA, and of course, my buddies at Truffle Shuffle. There's always something cool going on. If you want to learn to cook like a Michelin star chef, they've got online classes. They'll send you all the stuff. It's truffleshufflesf.com, SF like San Francisco. Check those guys out. And Freedom Supercars Austin. So lots of people to thank. Lots of people made this possible. And of course, you guys for putting on a fantastic show.
Well, thank you very much. That was Michael Johnson. Now let's chat with Andrew Chinichi as DJ is caught up with our winner.
I have indeed, Andrew. Let's start right at the middle part of the race there, as it looked like you were really trying to close down on Cigar Dewan and had to get your elbows out a little bit.
Yeah, that was super, super fun. I wasn't sure whether I was going to be able to catch him. He was just so consistent in the beginning of the race. And then I told myself to calm down a little bit, adjust my inputs a little bit, adjust my line a little bit, and find where, I could be a little bit quicker than him. And then thankfully able to catch him really clean racing from Cigar as well. It's super cool to see how he's improved throughout the season. And yeah, that was a really fun battle. I got a big smile on my face.
Well, I can certainly imagine. We had a big smile on our faces being able to watch it up here in the booth. So it was just a matter of changing your lines a little bit, changing the inputs around a little bit. Nothing to do necessarily with saving the tires at all. We weren't entirely sure if that was something that was going to be happening.
Yeah, probably potentially a little bit of that. I found myself in the beginning, the little tussle with Tom, heightened emotions a little bit. Things are, my inputs are a little bit more aggressive. And then seeing Cigar over 2 seconds out, I'm thinking I got to make a big difference, right? I got to find a lot of lap time. But then after like 2 or 3 laps, I realized, come on, soften things up a little bit, protect the front tires a little bit, protect the rear tires a little bit. And all I got to do is be, 0.2 quicker than him every lap and I'll catch him. And yeah, thankfully it worked. And yeah, so it was that's probably why it was so rewarding, was some of the adversity in the beginning and then making those adjustments and having it pay off.
For sure, my friend. Well, as we look ahead to the next season, you've been very, very quick in this season. Obviously, we just talked to Michael Johnson, said, you had to be pulled away a couple of times because of work. What are your goals coming into the next season, I have to ask you?
Definitely attend more races than I did this year. It's the goal is going to be the same in terms of, win races and win the championship. It's definitely easier when you can just put it on pole and drive away. It's maybe not as exciting and not as rewarding, but definitely motivated to put in the practice, represent the people that are supporting me well, and yeah, win the damn thing.
Well, we wish you luck in that as we look ahead to next season. But my friend, as for a very successful attack here today, who do you have to thank?
Well, first, congratulations to Michael Johnson. Super, super consistent guy and obviously helpful to everyone else that's participating in these races, which is really nice. And I'm trying my best to do that as well. It's a fun little community. Myself, there's a guy out there named Michael Cooper, a longtime friend, and he's been kind of a coach for me over the years, just helping me get quicker and quicker and more consistent. So I certainly wouldn't be here without him. My incredible girlfriend, Rose, who supports me through everything that I do, and just sets me up for success with these events. And then Photo Workshop Adventures, Streamline Vape, Create Emotion, Ken Wong DDS, and Titan Pacific Law. They've all helped me out massively. And thank you to you guys, too. This has been a ton of fun.
Well, it has been a ton of fun to be able to call these races for you, my friend. Andrew, congratulations. We'll see you next season.
All right, take care.
All right, that was Andrew Chinichi there, Joe. Your winner on the day, excuse me.
Yeah, easy to forget. Second was actually Cigar Dewan, who we're going to be talking to now. And Cigar, is a little frustrating knowing that you led so much of it and Andrew kind of hunted you down. Or are you still happy with P2?
Hey, guys. I am very happy with P2, I think. I always knew that it was going to be difficult to hold off both Tom and Andrew. Fortunately for me, they got tangled up a bit at the start, and so I got to get away a little bit. And as I saw the gap just come down lap after lap, it started to get to me, and eventually I think the pressure was just getting crazy. I did fight him when he got past me, but ultimately I don't think there was anything I could do.
Yeah, of all the tracks, though, to be ahead of him, this definitely seemed like a good one. Track position looked pretty important. Did you feel like defense was maybe a little easier because of that?
Yeah, I think so. I think even in practice, it seemed really difficult to get past somebody. And I think maybe I could have held Andrew off if I didn't make a mistake. but the track is just so difficult. It doesn't seem like it at first, but it's just a difficult track. And for the most of the lap, I could just look forward. I didn't have to worry about an overtake because I knew it was very difficult to get one done. But yeah, I think the nature of the track, track position was very important.
Now, I don't know if you saw, but iRacing just announced today that the new Porsche GT3R is going to be coming in. Are you excited about getting to play with that new toy?
I am. I did drive the older version of that car in a different league last night, and it is a wonderful car to drive. So definitely excited about that.
Well, look forward to seeing you hop into it. And again, congratulations on another podium.
Thank you.
Cigar Dewad finishing second in the 501 car, and that's going to wrap up the season as well as our broadcast. A big thank you to the sponsor, of course, of the series, Porsche. There is no substitute. Find out more at Porsche.com. And Game Changer Wealth, helping you become a game changer with wealth. Contact them today at GameChangerBR.com or 225-664-2565. Thanks to the team today, DJ, Zach, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media, our website, and our merchandise store. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. Next time out, because we will be back soon, that'll be on June 19th, I believe. They are going to be at Montreal over in Canada, and that'll be at 11 p.m. Eastern as well. But be sure to check out our other broadcasts that we have listed here. And until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.